Hi again, it's Priya. Just recently, not so long ago, I wasn't able to write a blog post for about a week or even longer. And I usually do try to write maybe daily or once in 2 days. And I just didn't have the motivation, but also it was an emotional situation. Yes, the reason obviously is a guy. I was dating this guy long distance and he just suddenly disconnected. So I had no idea I couldn't contact him because it was overseas. And it was taking its toll on me. And then I was like thinking about it later. I mean, he came back and we had a chat. And like as he said, we're not babies, we're adults, we need to talk things through. But I was thinking, my goodness, gender differences, I mean, I know about it, but when it comes to the crunch, we're still having issues. Now, a man is a man, and he tends to be someone who sees a problem or sees a prospect of a problem, and he needs to analyze it, he needs to solve it. And to solve it, he needs space. He needs to go into his cave and go alone and try to hash this out. He doesn't need other males even. He needs to be alone and hash this out until he finds a solution to the problem. Then he will surface, and when he surfaces, it's like as if nothing has happened. Now, for a female, they generally tend to be relationship oriented. So they see a problem. For them, then solving it is on the horizon, but not an immediate thing. For them, they have a problem, they need to speak about it, they need to deal with their emotions and get it out of their system. Then they can approach it more rationally. But the problem shouldn't come in the way of relationships, and for them, relationships take more priority. So therefore, the problem is another facilitator to enhance relationships. So she will go and talk about it. Now, it's understandable that women are generally relationship oriented because that's the way God has wired a woman. It is to the woman that God gives the gift of pregnancy and bearing a child because she is the nurturer. And it may be a generalization, but there may be exceptions to the rule. But women are nurturers, and they do tend to be relationship oriented, unless of course a woman has been hurt for whatever reasons and she has her fears that she needs to deal with. But a godly woman who has been healing will have aspects on relationship. And even men need to have their priority on relationships and friendships, because that's how God has called us to do, is to love God and love our neighbor. Now back to this guy, I was thinking years ago when I met him as a group, we just bonded as a group. There was 5 of us, and suddenly this guy will just vanish. He'll disappear. He was a wanderer, and like, where is he? Oh, he's disappeared. That was just all of our responses because we were so used to it. So I was thinking at that time he was a wanderer, and that was okay with me. But over the years, despite the distance, we kept in touch, and this year we just found that he had just matured suddenly and on like an exponential curve, whether spiritually and as a person. And we've had some very deep conversations that we've been talking for hours and hours and hours on the phone. And then one fine day he calls me and he goes, "Priya, do you think we share an attraction between us?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's a good question." And I was like, when did this start? Like, if you had asked us when we met whether there was any possibility of us dating, we would have laughed, and even now we laugh thinking about it. And he said, "Do you think we could give it a go?" Sure. But reality is, it's just dating. We don't know whether it will evolve into a relationship, whether we have what it takes to evolve in a relationship, or rather whether our goals and our dwelling can be merged. That is a thing. But anyway, men being problem solvers, they always see the problems that a marriage can pose. So relationships are not priority, and they actually get a fear of marriage. Whereas for women, because we are relational oriented, we want the marriage and the security. So that itself becomes a clash in much of a dating causing breakup. So we'll see how long these kind of datings can last. Anyway, But knowing that men are like this and women are like this, it's still very difficult to face it when this actual situation happens. So that's when a woman has to find her comfort and her thing in God and in friends and in other things to keep occupied instead of running to the cave behind the guy, because he will then become the dragon and burn her up. But of course, a man, if he can get used to saying, look, I'm going into my cave, I will be back, and assure her that it's got nothing to do with her, that he still loves her, that makes a huge difference. More next time, stay tuned.